You're listening to Authentic Torah.
We're going to be starting tonight with probably the most important part of Yadus. And we're going to see where we go. This is the Aruch HaShulchan. It's phenomenal. It needs no introduction. We're going to be starting at Siman Reish Mem Beis, the very beginning of Hilchos Shabbos. This is the Orach Chaim. Orach Chaim Siman Reish Mem Beis. Shabbos Kodesh hu ha'os hagadol shebein HaKadosh Baruch Hu bein Amol Yisrael. The Holy Shabbos is a big sign, a great sign. It's an os between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his nation Klal Yisrael. As it's written, Ki osi beini uveinechem ledas ki ani Hashem mekadshechem. It's written that it is an oath between me and between you to know that I am Hashem, who is holy. Now, if we can get the sources for this, which mine doesn't have, Kloimar, as if to say, Afal Gav the Shabbos, who zechel ma'aseh bereishis. Even though Shabbos is a zecher, a remembrance to the creation of the world. Kisheishes yamim asa Hashem as hashmaim yas haaretz. Because for 6 days Hashem made Shemaim and Haaretz. V'yom hashvin, on the 7th day, Shabbos vayinofash. Hashem rested v'lachein, and therefore, vayivarech Elokim Yisrael mashvi v'kadesh oso kivo Shabbos. When it says that Hashem blessed the 7th day and He sanctified it, like it's written over there, and if so, one would think that the entire creation of the world has shaykhs to it, has a connection to it. Shabbos is not similar to the other Yom Tovim. Those Yom Tovim are a remembrance to the going out of Mitzrayim. The other nations of the world have no connection to that. They never left Mitzrayim. But in regards to the creation of the world, kulam nivru, everyone was created. Mikol makom, nevertheless, lo nasan HaKadosh Baruch Hu kedusha Shabbos rak liYisrael bilvad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu only gave the kedusha of Shabbos to Klal Yisrael alone. V'zeu, and this is ladas, to know ki ani Hashem mikdashchem, to know that I am Hashem who makes you holy. Klomar, as if to say, Sha'atem kedoshim etzli, you are holy ones by me. Kirichsiv, like it's written, kedoshim tihi you, you should be holy. V'lachein, and therefore nasati lechem kedushas haShabbos, I gave to you kedushas haShabbos, the haShabbos v'Yisrael him tachlis abriya. Shabbos in Klal Yisrael is the purpose of the creation. V'zel sha'omrim v'lo nasato, l'goye haratzos v'lo hinchalto, Klomer, as if to say, even though apparently there is a connection to everyone in this. This is what we mean when we say in the first parak of Shabbos, a good present HaKadosh Baruch Hu had in the storage house. The Shabbos Shmon, Shabbos is its name. Lech emor lehem Yisrael, go and tell Klal Yisrael. Klomars, of to say, Av shebicholis litna l'chol habruyim. Even though technically Shabbos could be given to everyone, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose to give it to Klal Yisrael. Kedusha Shabbos l'mal mikol hakedushos. There's nothing more holier than Shabbos. That includes Yom Kippur. Uberchasa l'mal mikol habrachos. And the bracha of Shabbos is greater than any bracha. We find stories of people who were not being matzliach in various things, and the Chavetz Chaim, or whoever they would consult, would tell them to be more careful on Shmir Shabbos, and you will see bracha in what you do. Therefore, it was sanctified and it was blessed from the beginning of the Bria. Like it's written, Vayivarech Elokim es yom hashvi vayikadesh oso. Hashem blessed the 7th day and made it holy. V'hi mekor habracha l'chol yemos hachol. And this is the source of bracha for all the days of the week. V'lachein, and therefore, nitztavu Yisrael ala Shabbos b'shiva parsha shebetorah. Klal Yisrael was commanded on Shabbos in 7 different parshas in the Torah, which corresponds to the 7 days of the week. The first time was in Bishalach. The second one is in Yisro, then Mishpatim, then Kisisa, then Vayakel, Emor, and Va'eschanan. The Horos, this is to teach you Shekol Shiva Yemei HaShavua, that all the 7 days of the week, B'Shabbos Tluyim, they are dependent on Shabbos. V'lachein, and therefore, Anu Maskirim B'chol Yom Ez HaShabbos. Therefore, we mention every day Shabbos in our davening by the Shir Shal Yom. It's in most shuls, it's the very last thing that we do. And sometimes the very last thing in davening is actually the most chashuv thing, in counting the days according to Shabbos. Some shuls have actually placed it on Shabbos. They placed it in between Shabbos and Musaf. Perhaps the reason they've done that is to guarantee that everyone does it. HaShabbos ikar ha'amuna be'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbos is the main faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shebara olamo, that He created His world, b'sheshes yamim, in 6 days. V'yom hashvi Shabbos v'yinafash. And on the 7th day was Shabbos, and He rested. V'chol she'eno shomer Shabbos. V'chol she'eno shomer Shabbos. Anyone who's not shomer Shabbos, ein lo emunah. They do not have emunah. They have no faith. V'lachein, and therefore, Dimo Chazal b'chol hashas mechal Shabbos l'ovid chochavim. Chazal compare in all of Shas one who's mechal Shabbos to one who worships stars. B'chol ha'mechal as a Shabbos is like a koifer b'chol ha'Torah kula. It's like someone who denies the entire Torah. V'lachein, and therefore, take up sheyatzu Yisrael miMitzrayim, immediately when Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim. Nitztavu al Shabbos, they were commanded on Shabbos in Parshas B'Shalach. Od kodem Matan Torah, this is even before Matan Torah. Why? Lefi she'yetzias Mitzrayim is edus on the Ashkacha Yisparach Be'olamo. L'shalim Tov li'osei Tov. Yetzias Mitzrayim testifies on HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Ashkacha, on the divine providence that He has in this world to pay good to those that do good. Ulahefach, and the opposite, lo seira, to do bad, like the Mitzrim, v'chayotze behem, v'hu edus ayichalaso yisparach lishnos esateva. It's also testimony that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the ability to change teva, the laws of nature, such as the makos, the plagues of Mitzrayim, and the kriyas yams, of the splitting of the sea, the yeridas hamon, and the mon, v'ashlav, v'be'er, and the well, the im'enam modim she'HaKadosh Baruch Hu bara olamo. If a person does not admit that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created His world, they've denied everything. Therefore, Nasal Lahem HaShabbos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Klal Yisrael Shabbos, take up B'tziyatzim Mitzrayim. Immediately upon leaving Mitzrayim, the Kach Amru Chazal, and so Chazal say, the Shabbos v'didim niftku b'mara. Shabbos and its laws were given to us in the place of Mara. V'hi hachnia harishona, this was the first place where Klal Yisrael encamped. Achrei kriyas yamsuf, after the kriyas yamsuf, kimivor b'Torah, like it's explained in the Torah. V'arei anu roim b'Shabbos harishon. We saw by the very first Shabbos she'ezu anashim chilu as Shabbos, that these were men that were mechal Shabbos. There were certain people that were mechal Shabbos. V'yatzu, they went out lilkot esamon, to gather the mon. V'yamar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Ana ma'antem lishmor mitzvosai v'sorosai. Until when are they going to continue to refuse to guard my mitzvos in my Torah? The thing is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not give us a Torah yet. But we see from here that Shabbos is equivalent to the entire Torah. Amar mefrush Shabbos iklulios kol haTorah v'mitzvos. We see that Shabbos includes all the Torah and the mitzvos. V'lachem b'sov kisisa ksiv. Therefore, at the end of Parshas Kisisa, it's written, Es chag hamatzos tishmor. Pesach you should guard, the Archachach, and afterwards. Sheishes Yamim Ta'avod, 6 days you should work. Uvayom Hashvi Tishbos, and on the 7th day you should rest. V'chol HaTorah Shabbos Kodem L'Regalim. In the entire Torah, Shabbos comes before the Yom Tovim, to Tadir and Mekudesh, because Shabbos is continuous and it's holy. Ela Lahoros L'Chag HaMatzos, but to teach us that Pesach, Hahechach Lishmar Shabbos, you have to guard Shabbos. V'im ein Shabbos, ein Pesach, v'ein Torah. If there's no Shabbos, there's no Pesach, and there's no Torah. It has no significance. Without Shabbos and Pesach, there is no Torah. V'hanavim, and the Nevi'im, kishochichu es Yisrael ala faras haTorah, when they would reprimand and give Musar to Klal Yisrael on abandoning the Torah, they specifically spoke about Shabbos. So chichu b'yichar achil Shabbos, Shabbosus b'fnei atzmon. Omar, they would say, Ashrei enosh ya'azazos, shomer Shabbos, mechalel lo v'shomer yado mi'azaz kol ra. Klomar, as if to say, this chut shmir Shabbos, yigram lo shlo ya'asa kol ra. This is a very powerful line, which you will look up in Yeshayahu. It's saying that the merit of guarding Shabbos will cause the person not to do anything bad. Could there be a line that's more powerful or more inspirational than that? In the merit of guarding Shabbos for real, guarding Shabbos for real, true Shmir Shabbos. The laws of Shabbos are so complex that someone who doesn't know them is better off sleeping through the entire day, because the chances of being Mechalel Shabbos is very, very high. Just to tear a piece of toilet paper, you are Mechalel Shabbos, you've desecrated Shabbos. Meanwhile, moving furniture and sweating, you've not desecrated Shabbos. This Chus Shmir Shabbos, the merit of Shmir Shabbos again, Yigram Lo, will cause to him Shlo Ya'aseh Kol Ra. He will not do anything bad. The Odin, furthermore, Amar, we say, Kol Shomer Shabbos, anyone who's Shomer Shabbos from Mechalelo, he's Shomer from desecrating it. Machzikim Bibrisi, so he's Mechazek, he strengthens in my covenant. Kloimer, as if to say the Bris HaTorah, he automatically is strengthening the Bris HaTorah. Mefurish Shamachalul es HaShabbos, we see explicitly one who's Mechalul Shabbos, Harezeh Moifer Bris HaTorah. He has uprooted the Bris of the Torah. We're going to go to Hay, and it would be great to look these things up to get even a greater understanding of what's going on here. In Pasha Pshat, to say that one who's not Mechal Shabbos has no emunah, what you have to be saying, it seems like we see from here that there's a certain strength that we are given when we are Shomer Shabbos. Like almost like we are a different Bria. It says someone who's Shomer Shabbos will not do anything bad. In the Schus of Shabbos, nothing bad will happen. This called the merit of Shmir Shabbos will cause that he will not do anything bad. Bad things might happen to him, but he will not do anything bad. And it's been said that this is very, very true when it comes to Kedusha things. So it's something super important in this day and age where to maintain a level of Kedusha is so difficult that it's been said, I've heard it said by Rabbi Kiva Tatz, that just to be normal is actually a high madrega nowadays. So you see the importance of being Shomer Shabbos, but you see that it can give a person a power that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So a person might think they are a Baal Emunah, yet they're not giving Shabbos. Maybe they don't know about Shabbos, but they will become in touch with even a higher level of Emunah, which they are not even able to be aware of if they're not keeping Shabbos. That's what I think it means right now. Even if they have good reason not to keep Shabbos. That's what I think it means. We'll see, maybe we'll have to change that. But Yirmiyah Amar Komar Sham Yishamar Benavshal Sechem Yaltisu Masa B'Yom HaShabbos Filsatzio Masa B'Betechem B'Yom HaShabbos V'chol Malach Lo Sasa V'Kidashim Yom HaShabbos. So said Hashem, guard your nefesh, and do not carry on Shabbos. We're not allowed to carry on Shabbos. Do not carry from your houses on Shabbos. You know, in cities where there's an Eruv, so some people do carry. But any malacha you cannot do. The definition of malacha is defined to us by the Torah Sheba'al Peh, very, very different than what the definition of malacha of work. Malacha means work. It's not what the Webster Dictionary says. No way. There's plenty of things which are work on Shabbos that we are allowed to do. But carrying a feather outside when there's no Eruv, that you're not allowed to do. You can't carry a feather. You should make the day holy. And it would be if you will listen to me. And he does not quote the end of the pasuk. Doesn't quote the end of the pasuk. Doesn't quote the end of the pasuk. But one thing we do see is that if there's no Shmir Shabbos, the palaces of Yerushalayim will burn down by fire. But to see what exactly it means, we would have to look it up, and I think the actual Aruch HaShulchans would have the sources. This is the Sefaria. And therefore, Amru Chazal say b'Shabbos sheb'makom shechil Shabbos mitzuya. They say in a place where there's Chilul Shabbos, Sham hadlika mitzuya. Over there, fire will be found. There's so much talk about forest fires and all these different things. We're not saying one necessarily has anything to do with the other, but also what exactly does fire mean? It could mean a spiritual fire, a taiva, an uncontrollable taiva, especially in the area which challenges Kedusha, which is something that we're surrounded with all over the place in this country. Sheb'makom shechil Shabbos mitzuya sham hadlika mitzuya v'Yechezkel Amar. Yechezkel says v'Yamru Bey. He doesn't finish the pasuk. Et shabshosai chalalu v'omer lishvach hamasi. Doesn't finish the pasuk. Yam mishpati lo asi v'chukosai ma'asu v'shashobsai chalu v'lachem. Therefore, yesh le'isha Yisrael litin liba l'shmir Shabbos kodesh. A Jew should place to his heart to be shomer Shabbos kodesh u'lekablu mi'be'od yom gadol. And he should be makabel it while it is still Yom Gadol. V'lo samuch, that's Shkia. Should not be makabel Shabbos close to Shkia. The alpizer rabim mehamon v'noshim v'amei haaretz madlikin neros achar Shkia. Because by doing that, many, at least in his days, and it could be they didn't have the clocks, maybe were not 100% accurate, but we're going to see that this would also apply to nowadays as well. Maybe this part hopefully doesn't apply to nowadays, but Al-Pizer, many people from the nation, if people are waiting till close to Shkia, so many people, V'nashim and women, V'amei haaretz, they will end up being madlikin neros after Shkia. And you can't light candles after sunset. And people might end up doing that. And we see when it comes to Isser Chametz Erev Pesach, which is after Chatzos, and that's only a lav. That's only one lav. V'im kol zeh ya'asu chachamim harchaka k'shnei shos. And even with all that, the chachamim made a harchaka of 2 hours. Why? Because the reason why they made a distance of 2 hours is mishum the chametz mosel l'kol. Chametz is found everywhere. The kal v'chomer ben menosha kal v'chomer b'chilul Shabbos. When it comes b'chilul Shabbos, we do it all week. All of these malachas we're doing all week. It's even more common than chametz. So he's saying it's a kal v'chomer ben benosha, the strongest kal v'chomer possible, that whatever the chachamim did by chametz, it's even more severe in regarding when you should be mekabel Shabbos before Shabbos. The Isser Skila, because by Shabbos we're speaking about an Isser Skila, which is more chamor, more stringent than just an Isser. V'nimtzar l'chol b'nei Yisrael tav v'nashim, it's been given over to all b'nei Yisrael, children, women. For many years there was no Beis Yaakov system, but nowadays women are educated. But sheyesh laharchi adlakas haneros harbe kodem mashkia. The one shall light candles harbe, 2 words of harbe, much before Shkia. Now he has not told us yet how much time. I believe he ends up saying 30 minutes as a minimum. I think he ends up saying that, but the Kol Shechin, and certainly the Rav Ha'ir, certainly the Rav of the city, V'hayireim, and those who are Yarei Shemayim, they're mechuyavim lahaktim harbe. They're obligated to light it even earlier, so that the people in the nation, they will not do it earlier, because whatever the Rav does, the people are going to do it later. Nevertheless, so they're not going to do it earlier than the Rav, but if the Rav does it very, very early, at least the other people are not going to end up being Mechal Shabbos. Masha Ein Kain, this is not the case. If the Rabbanim themselves are Madlikin Samach L'Shkia. If the Rabbanim themselves are lighting close to Shkia. Sheha'amon Yadliku Achar Shkia. Then the masses light after Shkia. Kasher Shemanu, like we hear. Kain Ra'inu, so we see. Bekam Makomos in many places. I don't think we see that nowadays, but I don't know. The Adoros HaKodmim in the earlier generations, Hayumakdim Harbe B'Kabal Shabbos, they would bring Shabbos much earlier. Kemevur B'Trumas Hadashin, like it's explained in the Trumas Hadashin. Sha'achar HaTfila, and this is how we know. How do we know they were Mekabel Shabbos early? Because of the following. It says after they davened, You have Shiloh? No. So ask me the Shiloh a little bit later. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. After davening, so they went to Shul. They davened Mincha, of course. Then there was Mariv. Then there was Kabbalah Shabbos. Then they came home and they had their Seudah. And then they would take a trip. They would walk around and they would walk at sunset. So after benching, the sun was setting. I don't know, it's a very nice thing to walk when the sun's setting. That's what they would do. So you could imagine how early they were Mekabel Shabbos. It's probably something very similar to what we do in the summertime. Many people do in the summertime. So it's brought in the Trumas Hadashin, Sha'achar Tefillah after davening, V'achar Achilan after eating, Halchu L'tayo, they would go on a trip, they would walk around. The family would take a walk. V'haisa oz shkiyas achama, and then that's when the sun was setting. Ein Sham. The Ashla B'siduro, Kodem Kabbalah Shabbos Mevayer, and this is the scariest line here. The Shla writes, Sha'omer Mizmer Shil Yom HaShabbos Achar Shkiyah, a person who says Mizmer Shil Yom HaShabbos after Shkiyah, maybe Sakana Rabbah. He brings a great Sakana, and I think a lot of shuls you end up doing this. Ein Sham Shabir Zeh Begodel Kedushaso V'Chachmaso. So that's a very powerful line, and the shuls in the winter time do this. We say Mizmer Shil Yom HaShabbos after Shkia, and l'chayra, it's something that would have to change. That brings us to Sif Hey, and we will, in Yirtzeh Hashem, continue some other time.
You've been listening to a podcast called Authentic Torah. It's available on almost every platform that podcasts are available. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.